Back when I was in college, I had a lot of unfinished projects. Those are the projects that I would give up on halfway through the progress. And I think that there were two reasons for me not being able to finish those projects. First reason was, of course, halfway through, I would realize that maybe I don't really have the skills required to complete the project. Or the second reason would be that I lost interest in the idea and I realized whatever I was trying to build is not exactly exciting to me. And as a result, I had a lot of projects that were unfinished, which was basically useless. That was a waste of time for me, and I could have invested that time in making something else. Now, if you're someone who also has a lot of unfinished projects because you end up giving up on them for I don't know what reasons, um, I would suggest that you need to start planning out your projects. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you how I started planning out my projects, what is the procedure that I follow, and yes, of course, this is not one size fits all kind of thing, but this would be helpful for pretty much 90% of the projects that you're gonna be building during your college life. So let's take an example of one of my projects that I did during my third year, I guess. So the project was a workout tracking app. The most exciting part of the app for me was the fact that I wanted to have a way of analyzing the data that I was tracking, and I could not find any app on the Play Store which was tracking all the data that I wanted it to track and then doing all the analysis that I wanted to see. So I thought that maybe I should create my own app that would track my workout sets, weight, and everything, and then give me analysis. So that was the app that I wanted to create. And instead of just jumping into coding part of the application, I spent decent amount of time trying to plan it out because this was quite a big of a project for me. It involved me making a backend server, a front-end mobile application. I had to have a database. So this was like a big project. It had everything for a full stack developer. Therefore, it made sense to plan it out. And the way I did it is, if you want to start a new programming project, the first thing that you should do is figure out what's the most exciting part of the project for you. For me, the most exciting part of my workout tracking app was the analysis that it would do. So for the step one, you need to figure out what's the most exciting part of your project. The reason why I'm asking you to do that is because in the step two, what you're gonna do is you're gonna assume that everything else is already done and you just have to code the most exciting part of the app. That's it. So in my case, what I did is I assumed that there is a backend that is already running. Somehow I'm able to track data, somehow I'm able to store data. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make an app that would show bar graphs, pie chart, and all those things. So it would show the analysis of my workout. And that's exactly what I did. I spent quite some time trying to create just the analysis on the mobile application. Now, let me elaborate on why this was extremely important. Okay. First thing, I did not know what tech stack I wanted to work in. But here's the thing, if you can implement the most exciting part of your project using XYZ tech stack, then you should probably work with that tech stack for the entire project. If you think about it, then in this particular case, I could have chosen a lot of different frameworks to create the mobile application. It could have been React Native, Flutter, or native Kotlin. But since I knew that I want to implement the most exciting feature right now, which is the analysis part, which are the graphs and stuff. So I searched for graph related libraries in all three of these frameworks, Kotlin, Flutter, and React Native. And I realized that React Native has the easiest one, the libraries that are super powerful but easier to use. Therefore, I created the MVP, which is the most exciting part of the app, using React Native itself. And thus I saved myself the trouble that I would have faced later on if I hadn't planned this out. Because maybe I could have started with, let's say, Kotlin, and then I would first मैं क्या करता सबसे पहले I would have implemented authentication, connected database, connected backend, and then I would do basic tracking stuff, how to track your data. And मैं इतनी मेहनत करके I would have created a Kotlin app, and then I would have realized कि shit, इसमें तो graphs बन ही नहीं सकते अच्छे से because the library is shit. And then I would be like, okay, now I need to give up on the project because इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद it doesn't matter. That's generally the case with a lot of people. They start with one particular framework, and then they implement all the unnecessary part, and then they realize the thing that they were most exciting about, वो तो implement कर ही नहीं सकते using that particular framework. That's why you really need to follow the first two steps. Number one, find the most exciting feature. Number two, implement that feature. Whatever framework you want to use it, implement that feature. And that's exactly what I did. I implemented the analysis part using React Native, and that's it. Now I know कि मेरे पास React Native में analysis वाला part done है. It took me like 15 days or something, but I managed to do it. And once I was done, अब क्या काम बचा है? I just need to implement authentication. I need to connect a backend. I need to have a database. I need to write some models and stuff. Now this is very basic stuff. You can do it in all any other framework. And when I've already implemented the most exciting feature, what happens is that when I'm working on the app, it feels like कि अब मैं side job कर रहा हूँ. मैंने जो main काम था वो कर चुका. So the project is very easy to do. So this is my biggest advice to anyone who's trying to figure out how to plan out their projects in a better way. Figure out the most exciting feature and implement it first of all. And once you're done implementing the most exciting feature, only then move on to the normal stuff like authentication, connecting database, ये वो सब हो जाएगा. That's how I plan out my projects even right now. Now, of course, there are two different situations that I have to be in. One is either I'm doing a hobby project. In that case, I follow this strategy. And when I'm doing a corporate project, because I'm in Adobe right now, I have to work for them also. तो वहाँ पे there's a lot more planning involved. But you don't need to worry about that. वो you'll learn when you will start working. For now, you should just follow this simple two-rule method, which is very simple. I try to keep it minimal. The reason for that is very obvious, which is when you're doing a hobby project, you don't want to spend a lot of time trying to planning out stuff. You really want to go and code. And I know your perspective because I was in college and I really wanted to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to share. It was a very short, fun video for me to make. Let me know if you like the idea, video, or whatever. Please consider subscribing to this channel and leave a comment, like the video. I'll see you soon.